Good evening. Welcome to the July 17th, 2017 Jurupa Unified School District Board of Education meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
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 Here. Here.
Thank you. Mr. Barnes, will you please lead us in the flag salute? Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Next, we'll have our inspirational comment. Mr. Mendez, would you please do that for us?
Thank you, Mr. President. The quote that I selected for today's meeting is from Helen Keller. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Mrs. Elzig, we have some reports from closed session.
We do. Thank you. The board voted with a 5-0 vote to appoint Brandon Stevens as assistant principal at Jurupa Valley High School. And if you could stand, congratulations. And with a 5-0 vote, the board voted to appoint Shelley Morris as the second assistant principal at Jurupa Valley High School. The board voted with a 5-0 vote to appoint Nicholas Blake as principal of Mission Middle School. Congratulations. And the board voted with a 5-0 vote to appoint Olga Alvarez as principal of Sunny Slope Elementary School. And last but not least, the board voted with a 5-0 vote to appoint Alicia Chambers as high school assistant principal, and she'll be at the Learning Center. We congratulate all of these individuals.
Thank you, Ms. Elzig. So now on to item number 1, recognition. 1A, recognize Admiral Alan E. Boothill, United States Navy retired. Dr. Hanson.
Yes, I'd like to invite Admiral Hill and his lovely wife up to the podium. If you could join us, please. Rear Admiral Alan E. Boothill served in the United States Navy for 34 years, including 2 tours in the Korean War and 5 tours in the Vietnam War. During his tenure, Admiral Hill created the Staff Training Program, which is a tactical training program that over 2,000 naval officers attend each year. Upon retirement, Admiral Hill received over 50 combat decorations, including the Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, Distinguished Flying Crosses, Air Medal, Navy Commendation Medal, and a Purple Heart. District Administration is honored to recognize Admiral Hill, a former West Riverside Elementary School student, for his outstanding naval accomplishments. The district will be dedicating the historical building located at West Riverside Elementary School after Admiral Hill at a later date. I want to congratulate him at this time and recognize him. I'd like to invite the Board of Education to come on down, and we have a plaque for Admiral Hill this evening.
Mr. Barnes, will you come up and maybe say a few words as well?
This is a really great day for all of Jurupa, the city of Jurupa and the Jurupa Unified School District. we couldn't have found a better person to name this school than Admiral Hill, that attended West Riverside School a long time ago. I was coming down here tonight prepared to say that Admiral Hill was here before any of us, or probably the 100,000 people in Jurupa. I would say he was the only one that was here at that time, 90 years ago. But then Bev Engeloff came down, Linda's mother, and so now I have to say there are two people that were here a long time ago, and they went to school together from there on out all the way through Poly High. Admiral Hill, the most humble of all heroes, with a total of 144 medals for his service in all those wars. He ran Rolling Thunder during Vietnam under the presidency of Lyndon Baines Johnson and Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara. Admiral Hill was the commander of the USS Ranger. The USS Ranger was America's first ship, commanded by John Paul Jones in the Revolution. You know the guy, I've just begun to fight. On the ship, when the USS Ranger, over the 250 years, as it changes command, the new commander accepts the ship and signs a document. It's signed outgoing and signed incoming, and it's kept in a safe on the ship. The Ranger now, when Admiral Hill took it over, was an aircraft carrier with fighter jets on it. And in that ship, in the captain's quarters, when you open the safe, there's that document signed by John Paul Jones. They were both born on the same day, John Paul Jones and Admiral Hill. He was shot down in North Vietnam in Haiphong Harbor while he was being pulled out of the water with straps, and the Navy SEALs going in to save him, and they were trying to kill him from shore, shooting 50 calibers and any other kind of weapon they find to try to take him out. But he made it, luckily, and came back to see all of us. His father was one of the first supervisors of Riverside County when it separated from San Bernardino, and we formed at the turn of the last century. And he lived down in West Riverside. He built the family's first home over in Riverside. Admiral Hill used to walk to school in West Riverside. He took a little rifle in the days when you could take a rifle to school. He did it for the purpose of getting food for the family that night. He would shoot pheasant and things out in where Flabob Airport is. So here's this West Riverside School dragon walking to school. He denies this too. And circling in the air is a biplane. Circling, and the guy's got the old scarf flying and the leather helmet. Lands out there in the field, and there he's standing there with his rifle, elementary school student. Guy gets out on the wing, convertible pulls up with a blonde hair. Pilot gets down, gets in the convertible, and they speed off. Right then Admiral Hill said, "That's what I want to do." And he went on to become one of the great pilots of all time in the history of the United States of America, and was in the first jet fighter group that flew against MiGs over Korea in the Korean War. So it's a super honor for our whole community and all of our veterans and town folk and historians that are very proud that this school will bear his name, and we congratulate Admiral Hill and Jackie, his beautiful wife. Okay, that's all I have to say about him.
Take a good picture.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barnes, for that. And Admiral Hill, congratulations. Thank you again. And we'll look forward to seeing you in a couple of years when we do the groundbreaking out there. Okay, moving on. Item 1B, recognize receipt of South Coast Air Quality Management District's electric school bus program. Mrs. Ford.
Thank you. The South Coast Air Quality Management District recently notified the district that we have been awarded an amount not to exceed $536,000 to purchase 2 electric school buses and the associated infrastructure that will come with that. That infrastructure will be installed over at the maintenance and operation yard. So we're very excited about this opportunity to have fully electric buses.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Ford. Item 1C, recognize receipt of Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program Grant Award. Mrs. Ford.
We have also been notified by the California Department of Education that we will receive another fresh fruit and vegetable grant, and that has been awarded in the amount of $33,090.42.
All right, thank you. On to number 2, board comments. Mrs. Chard.
Well, I want to congratulate all of our new appointees tonight. I look forward to visiting your schools once you get settled in and get the school year going. And I know it's going to be tough because you're coming in, but I know that you guys will have a lot of support from your staff. I also want to congratulate Admiral Hill, and it's an honor for me to meet him. My mom has talked about him for years because she went to high school with him, and she's done their class reunion, and he's attended all their class reunions. And being a Navy man, my father-in-law was Navy, career Navy. My father was in the Navy during the war, World War II. My uncle was in the Navy for the Korean War and World War II. So it's in my blood, I guess. And to have West Riverside, where I attended, have a building named after Admiral Hill is going to be quite an honor to have that. And I hope that the children learn a lot about him, Mr. Barnes. You're going to need to put some information down there. You wrote a very nice article a few years ago about Admiral Hill, and maybe you could get some more information to go down there for the building when we get it all fixed up nice. And I hope all of you come out to the dedication. Those dedications are really nice because sometimes you'll learn some things about what is going on or what has happened. Some people that talk about things there, how things came about, where the building, the history of the school district, the history of the building, or the history of the groundbreaking. So anytime you get an opportunity to find out a little more history about the district, you should come to those. I don't have anything really to report on. I haven't really had anything, but I did attend the 4th of July. I did attend the 3rd of July fireworks at Agate Park, and that was outstanding. If you did not go for $5, that is the best $5 you'll ever spend. Even if you take your own food and just sit down and listen, the band was outstanding. They were called The Answer, and they played all kinds of music, and they had the crowd dancing with them, singing with them, and then the fireworks display was very nice, and I hate to say it, but it made Riverside look really bad. Our community out here in our city did a wonderful job. 4th of July, at the Country Village Parade, I took my granddaughters and my great niece and nephew with me, and we rode in the bus with some of the other kids in the district and the other board members and Mrs. Ford. And it was a lot of fun. The people really enjoyed it, and the kids got little candy. Well, even some of the adults were running after the candies that we were throwing out. But then they had a really nice setup, and they had free food for everybody who came. And even though it was hot, it was a really nice day. They had an animals petting zoo and a lot of things for the kids. But it was a lot of fun just listening to the band and the radio station that was there. They had 2 different things going on. They had a slide and lots of good food. So I enjoyed that too. And that's the first time I've been to that. So if you get to go to either of those next year, they're both well worth your time for an outing. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Chard. Mr. Mendez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I too rode on the bus in the parade there at Country Village Road for the 4th of July. It's always a wonderful place to celebrate the 4th of July with the flyovers that come over across during the opening ceremonies and so forth. This year, I thought it wasn't going to be the same as other years because Mr. Barnes, who is here in the audience again with us today, has been the master of ceremonies forever, I think. And since he's a world traveler now, he's not around this area as often as he used to be when he was living here. I don't know if he still is. I know he was kind of contemplating changing his residence, but I was so glad to see that he was once again the master of ceremonies for that event. So it was a wonderful event to be at and a great place to celebrate that special holiday. It also gives me a great honor as well to have a building on the campus at West Riverside Elementary School named after the Admiral because I too was have a personal connection. I was principal of that school for 5 years. It was my very first assignment here in the Jurupa Unified School District, and I really treasure the years that I spent there. And it'll be an honor to be there at the dedication to celebrate on that occasion. So thank you very much, Admiral, for all your service to this country. And then, in terms of the new appointees, congratulations. Welcome aboard into your new positions. And I look forward to, hearing some awesome things. And I was telling Ms. Elzig that it's really nice to have those appointments come about right about this time. That'll give you an opportunity to meet with some of the rest of the staff before the school to plan the year and really get things off to a great start for the school year. So congratulations to all of you in your new assignments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Ms. Ortega.
Thank you. Yes, I also wanted to piggyback on that. Congratulations to all the appointees today. I for most of the ones that have been appointed today, I've had connection and seen you on the field working. So I admire your passion for our schools and for our students, and it's really nice to have that opportunity for growth as well for you and your profession. So I thank you for your dedication. And congratulations to the recognition that we did for Admiral. I always say that, this opportunity for me is amazing because I really do go full circle. I'm sitting next to my first principal from West Riverside, and I also graduated from West Riverside. So it's just so beautiful how life gives you those opportunities, and for you to create that full circle so that you also can motivate and inspire the younger generations to come. So I'm privileged and honored to be able to share that with you all today. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortega. Mrs. Johnston.
First, I want to say thank you to Admiral Hill and his wife, an exemplary career, and we appreciate you and your service. Also, the appointments, you all were highly recommended, and I know we have musical chairs with principals and vice principals. It's a new challenge. You guys are up to it. I'm sure you will have a wonderful year, and thank you for stepping up to the plate and coming to Jurupa Valley if you were not here before, and for moving on around our district, those that have been here for a while. And so we do appreciate having you and having your talent, and we look forward to your success. What else? Oh, I did, the last event I attended was the graduation for adult education medical assistants, and I enjoyed the graduation very much, and it was very hopeful, and it was really, they loved it. I mean, I loved it. They were so excited, and you would think, they aren't that young, like 18, but they were very excited to graduate from their and get their certifications. And it's great for the board because we've been looking at career tech, and we're also looking at that coming out of our high schools now. And so it was a great evening. We were all there, and So that's all I have to say. Some of my favorite people are here, and David Bynes always does a wonderful historical presentation. And I always remember some of the things he said, or some of the things I remembered from school that I had forgotten. And I remember that line, "We've just begun to fight." That's one of the greatest lines in our history. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Johnston. And again, I'd like to reiterate what my colleagues have said about the new appointees. You come highly recommended, and the board has all the confidence in the world in you, and we look forward to your success in the future. Second, again, Admiral Hill, it's a pleasure and an honor to honor you here tonight. And for me, the connection is I was stationed at Naval Air Station Miramar, which I know that you were instrumental in putting together. So it's a real pleasure, and we thank you for your service, and we look forward to West Riverside when we get that building going. Thank you, sir. And also had the opportunity to go to the medical assistant graduation with the board. We were all able to make it. Thanks, Ms. Montanez, for a great program. And it's great to see that our district is moving towards some of those programs. Some of these programs, outside, may cost thousands of dollars, and we offer them at a very, I think it's $275 or something. It's very reasonable. Good program, opportunities for students and adults to get out in the workplace. And I know there's a pharmacy tech, I believe, that just started up. So great programs. Keep up the great work out there at the adult school. And tomorrow is the summer school graduation, so I look forward to attending that. And finally, I'd just like to say a few words about my colleague up here, Ms. Johnston. Tonight is her final board meeting. And so I just want to say that it's been a pleasure to serve on this board with you. I know, I think as a board we agree on the big picture, our kids. And so I know you've always thought about the kids first when making decisions, and wish you and Mr. Johnston the best in your new phase in life. So thank you. Okay, so now we're on to public verbal comments. I've only got one speaker card here. If you'd like to speak afterwards, then please make yourself known. So the first card, the only card I have here, is from Mrs. Silvia Olguin. Will you please come forward?
First, I would like to thank Dana, Director of Maintenance and Operations, and Eric, Director of Risk Management. They took the time out of their busy day to go and visit us. They took us a bottle of water and a popsicle to keep us hydrated during the hot days. The last board meeting I attended, I believe, was in May, when a committee announced the name they had chose for a school, the new K-12. They were very gracious and came up here and explained why they chose the name they chose, although it was made evident by 3 board members that they did not approve of that name. That the things that were said that night from these board members, to me, were discriminatory. As I heard these board members speak, I could remember us being the first Latinos on the block in Mariloma, and to get from our home to the bus stop, rocks were thrown at us, and we were lucky to escape them. I think discrimination was very high at that meeting, but it was to a different race. Discrimination is discrimination, no matter if it's Latino, Caucasian, Black, Asian, whatever it may be. And my heart broke for those 3 community members because they put their time and their effort into making the decision they did. They explained why they made that decision. And I believe the most arrogant thing that was said that night was, well, it doesn't matter because we as board members have the final word and we're going to take the heat. There was no heat. Nobody was making a fuss about the fact that they had picked a certain name except board members. And that was very disgraceful, and that was very disrespectful. We have fought for years as Latino for our rights not to be discriminated, and you guys did just that. And I, when they got up and walked out, went after them and apologized and told them not everybody overlooked their hard work that they put to come up with that name. A name, one said, it would be nice to have a Latino school named. What does that have to do with anything? We are all here. We all hold our jobs because of these kids, and that is our priority. The kids are not going to learn more because the school was named after a Latino. They're going to learn because of the values their parents teach them, the values their teachers teach them, and the heart that they have. And the only good thing at that board meeting that took place was the fact that the junior board members were not here to see the disgrace that was held that night. I have to applaud, and many of you know me and know that I have never been very fond of Trent Hansen. But that night, I came, shook his hand, and applaud that he stood by his morals and said the right thing to do was to accept the name of the school that the committee had come up with. And I couldn't have been more proud of Trent that day had he been my own son. So you guys could learn something from what you are trying to teach these kids. You picked the committee. You asked this committee to make a decision, which they did, which they explained to you why they made that decision, and still they were hammered. My heart just broke for them. And when I went out to apologize, the ladies had tears in their eyes and thanked me for the fact that somebody did notice the hard work they did. So I think you need to choose your words more wisely and be more heartfelt in what you are saying to the people that are working hard.
Thank you, Ms. Holguin. Anyone else? Okay. We'll move on to number 4, administrative reports and written communications. 4A, Williams Settlement Quarterly Uniform Complaint Report Summary. Mrs. Santos-Lee.
Thank you. Educational Code 35186 and Board Policy 1902 requires a report of summarized data on the nature and resolution of all complaints on a quarterly basis to the board and the county superintendents of schools. This report shall include the number of complaints by general subject area with number of resolved and unresolved complaints. There were no complaints filed during this period. A copy of the report for the April 2017 through June 2017 is included in the backup materials.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Santos-Lee. Any questions, comments?
I have a comment. How long have we have been under this law for us to make this report? Do you happen to know more or less? The reason I was asking is that in the years that I've been on the board, I don't believe that we ever had any complaints filed, or maybe way back several years ago. I mean, it's a really good thing. I'm just wondering how that we continue to do the great job that we're doing.
Actually, a court settlement.
A court settlement, that's right.
With a number of districts. Actually, we were a named defendant in it way back when. I believe it was 17 or 18 years ago. And I think we've had 1 or 2 minor complaints. One that a certain subject matter wasn't included in the textbook, which it was. They've all been resolved by the time the report was filed with the county. So.
Well, I'd like to applaud the staff and everybody involved in ensuring that we follow the laws and other obligations that we need to have in our school. So thank you very much for your work on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, 4B, consider nomination for CSBA 2017 Legislative Awards Program. Mr. Duchamp.
Thank you, President Garcia. For the past 30 years, CSBA, California School Boards Association, has honored current members of the California State Assembly and Senate, as well as members of Congress. They have 5 general areas that they honor: outstanding legislator, state or federal, outstanding freshman legislator, special recognition, the Albert S. Rada Lifetime Achievement Award, and the D.D. Alport Award for exemplary education leadership. Nominations are due by Friday, September 1st. So if you wish to nominate any legislator, new, experienced, or otherwise, lifetime achievement, those nominations should come in here. Generally, the board would act with consensus, so it would be good if you want to do that, to do it at your August or early September meeting. Well, no, early September will not work, so at your August meeting.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, so if you have anything in mind, anyone in mind, bring it to our next meeting. We only have one meeting on August, so.
And I'll add, if that you want to do a nomination, we certainly have excellent legislators. We're happy to put together information if somebody wants to let me or Denise know. We could put it, okay. If you let us know ahead of time, we can put it in the agenda, so it could be actually be on there.
Yeah, certainly. I think Assemblywoman Cervantes, freshman legislator, maybe might be, if you guys could put a package together for us to put it on the next agenda. I don't know if anybody else has anyone else. We have 3 great legislators, so we could do more than one.
We could do as many as
Yeah.
we want.
Yeah, let's do all of them.
We will prepare 3 packets.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. Thank you. Okay. The 4C, other administrative reports, and okay, none. Okay. Moving on to our public hearing session, item I-1, hold public hearing on compliance with the Children's Internet Protection Act and Internet Safety Policy. Mrs. Ford.
As a requirement of the E-rate program and the Children's Internet Protection Act, otherwise known as SIPA, the district must provide an annual public notice and hearing addressing its technology protection measures and its internet safety policy. The hearing date and copies of internet safety policies were posted at the Education Center, at the Glen Avon Regional Library, at the Louis B. Rubidoux Library, and on the district's webpage from July 10th through July 14th. The board president should formally open and close the public hearing on compliance with the Children's Internet Protection Act and Internet Safety Policy.
Okay, I now formally open the public hearing on compliance with the Children's Internet Protection Act and Internet Safety Policy. Do I have any comments from the public? Nope, seeing none. Okay, now I'll close that public hearing and we'll move on to the next item. Number 2, hold public hearing concerning the intention of Jurupa Unified School District to apply for a State Board of Education waiver. Mrs. Ford.
As part of the sale of the surplus property, and that's the Limonite property that we had originally for a K-8 school, but that the board had deemed as surplus, JUSD must hold a public hearing to hear any concerns regarding its intention to submit a request to the State Board of Education to waive the education code that relates to the public hearing, the public auction of the property, and allows us to directly sell the property. So later in the agenda, we will be asking the board to approve a resolution for us to submit that waiver.
Okay. This time I'll open the public hearing concerning the intention of the JUSD to apply for a State Board of Education waiver. Any public comments? Any comments from the public regarding this matter? Okay, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing on that matter, and we'll move on to the action session. Item A, approve and adopt routine action items by consent.
Move to approve the action items A1 through 33 is printed.
Motion by Mrs. Johnston,
Second.
second by Mrs. Chard. Any questions or comment?
Yes, I have a question and comment, I guess. On item number 4, the adoption of fully qualified teachers. We have 5 or 6 bilingual teachers that will be requiring a waiver. What are the procedures that those teachers need to go through, or what needs to be done for them to get the certification? Ms. Elsig?
Thank you. Each individual case is a little different. We have a teacher that is from out of state, from Michigan, so they don't have a CLAD in Michigan. So out of state teachers, in fact, I think there's 2 in the mix that need to go ahead and finish up their CLAD, but they didn't have it in their programs. So this just allows them 1 year to go back and get the CLAD that they didn't have. The rest are emergency B-CLAD teachers, and all of those teachers have passed 2 sections already of the B-CLAD test, which is a different test that would authorize a teacher to teach in primary language, their primary language. So they've already passed 2 of the 3 sections. They have a year to pass the 3rd section, but we believe they'll be able to get through that. And then basically they're just studying for those tests and going through, in the first case, coursework to get there. In addition to those things, the supports that we offer for these teachers would be, they work with the induction program with Ms. Santos Lee. They're assigned a veteran teacher to work alongside them and meet at different times. Could be a coffee shop on a Saturday to just talk about their challenges and have that mentor to be with them. We also assign a mentor at their school site. So for the daily challenges that they might encounter, we have that mentorship going as well. And of course, their principal works closely with them.
And is there a specific time frame by which they need to finish all the requirements to be certified, fully certified?
Yes, it's 1 year.
1 year. Oh, I'm sure you probably mentioned that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
That's
fine.
And then with the special education teachers, is that a similar process, or is that a little bit different?
Similar, yes. It involves coursework, finishing the coursework to clear their credential. So yes, it is similar. We'll probably see more of these. This comes to the board every year, and most years we never needed to use it. But as we see the teacher shortage setting in, we'll see more teachers that fall into this category and use this to get them into classrooms.
Thank you, Ms. Elsa.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, let's call for the vote.
Why is mine not coming out? Did your vote come up? Mine's not coming up again. Okay. Okay. I thought I was refreshed, but I haven't. Everything disappeared again.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, on to item B. Approve deductive change order, Optera Energy Services, Inc., Glen Avon Photovoltaic System. Dr. Hanson.
Yes, administration recommends to de-scope the installation of the photovoltaic system for Glen Avon Elementary School from the Phase 4 Proposition 39 project scope of work, and including it at a later date when we do the Glen Avon Elementary modernization project. There's no cost impact to this change. It's strictly due to phasing out the construction, due to the construction schedule. We have finished with all of our Prop 39 Phase 4 energy projects, and rather than wait for the modernization to be complete before we could actually close those projects out, we've elected to de-scope it from that work so that we can close the projects out now, and then we'll readdress it when we get to the modernization of Glen Avon Elementary School.
Make a motion for approval.
Motion by Mr. Mendez,
Second.
second by Mrs. Chard. Any questions or comments? I just one question, Dr. Hanson. So, as far as taking it out of Prop 39 scope, what's the advantage of that?
It allows us to close out those projects now. We don't anticipate to erect that structure for another couple of years probably. And if it was listed under the Prop 39 project scope, we'd have to wait for that to be erected and finished before we could close those projects out. So by removing it from the scope of work from that Prop 39 and just putting it in the Measure EE, which is where the money was allocated anyways, it allows us to close those projects up and be done with the Prop 39 money.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Everything okay, Linda?
No, I think it's okay. Yeah, because mine voted. I already voted. Thank you for watching out for me.
Okay. Item C, adopt resolution number 2018/01, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the submittal of an application requesting the State Board of Education to waive certain education code sections related to the sale of the former Limonite K-8 school site. Mrs. Ford.
And this is the second portion of that hearing item. Administration is requesting authorization to submit a request to the State Board of Education to waive the statutory requirements that, for surplus property sales and to be able to sell the property through direct marketing and sale. So administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 2018/01, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the submittal of an application requesting the State Board of Education to waive certain education code sections related to the sale of the former Limonite K-8 school site.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Mendez, second by Mrs. Johnston. Any questions or comments? Okay, let's call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item D, adopt at a second reading ordinance 2017/01, ordinance of the Board of Education for the Jurupa Unified School District acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 17 of the Jurupa Unified School District, authorizing the levy of a special tax. Mrs. Ford.
This is the final step in the formation process for the CFD number 17, which is, as you recall, that's the CFD that's out in the Harvest Village, Lennar homes that are off of Wineville. In the next section of that, at this time, the board is to conduct a second reading of the ordinance, which provides for the levy of special taxes within the boundaries of the CFD number 17. The rate of the special taxes is set each year based on the formulas that are established in the rate and method of apportionment of special taxes, which you do have in your backup documents. Administration recommends the board adopt ordinance number 2017/01, ordinance of the Board of Education of the Jurupa Unified School District, acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 17 of the Jurupa Unified School District, authorizing the levy of a special tax.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Johnston,
Second.
second by Ms. Ortega. Any questions or comments on this one? None? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ford. Let's call for the vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item E. So this is mine. Determine process to fill vacancy in trustee area 3. As you know, Mrs. Johnston, a vacancy will be created once she leaves us here after today, as of July 31st. So the board should determine whether we shall fill the vacancy by a provisional appointment or by ordering a special election. If the board chooses to make a provisional appointment, we will instruct staff to solicit candidate nominations and applications and set a date for the nominations and applications to be received. So the board shall further set a date for candidates to be considered at an open public meeting. So I recommend that we fill this vacancy by a provisional appointment. So I'd like to make that motion.
A second.
Okay, so I made the motion. Mrs. Chard, second. Any discussion? Anyone else have any other thoughts?
I do.
Okay.
That's how I came to the board, and I think that it's a good idea because we need to have another voice on. We need to keep our board balanced, and starting the new school year, it's a good time for the new person to come in at the beginning of, fairly close to the beginning of the school year, and start understanding. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to find someone that can represent the area and is either willing to learn something new about the district or already have some experience with the schools. We have a new school coming into that boundary, and I think it would be good if someone from that area were interested. And I know there's a lot of other people that will probably be interested too, but I think it's a good idea to appoint.
Okay.
Mr. President, I also have a comment.
Okay, Mr. Mendez, go ahead.
One of the big advantages of an appointment is that it would save the district money rather than having to run an election, a special election to fill the vacancy. And given the fact that the term is going to be short, up for re-election anyway fairly soon, it just makes a lot of sense financially, and if nothing else, to go ahead and appoint someone in the interim. And I do look forward to some, good applications coming that would be representative of the person that would be serving to represent that area here on the board. So thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mr. Mendez. Mr. Ortega, any comments?
No, I'm just learning as we go, so this is new for me. So I'm learning. Thank you.
I will. Ms. Johnson, you have any comments? Anything you'd like to add? You still are a voting member, so you'll be voting on this as well?
Well, I do agree that it's a lot less expensive to make an appointment, and I hope that we will get some very good candidates. It would be different to have someone from the new neighborhood. That would be great, but we have no idea until we get some applications in. It is very painful for me to leave this board. I have loved it. And, I have loved everybody here. It's been great. And we have getting younger people, new blood, and it's always a good thing. And I will miss talking to the students, and it breaks my heart when they tell me they don't think they're in a good school district. And these are the higher achievers that we're talking to. And I really think that the whole district gives their all to educate them. And I think that they should not feel that way. So I'm hoping that the more positive vibes we all project will make it better for them. And if you think you can do things, you can. If you think you can't, if you're told you can't, you won't. We need to encourage them and say, yes, you can, and we will help you get there.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Chard, would you mind retracting your motion so I can actually make the motion with all the technical, and then we can do it again. If you would retract your motion. So you seconded, right? So we don't have to go backwards? Okay. Okay, so here's the motion. I'd like to move that we approve filling the vacancy in trustee area 3 by provisional appointment and direct staff to solicit candidate and nomination applications until July 28, 2017. The date to interview candidates and make a provisional appointment is set for Monday, August 14th, 2017.
I second the motion.
Okay, second by Ms. Chard. Any additional discussion? All right, let's go ahead and vote. Motion passes 5-0. All right, item F, approve personnel matters, ratify tentative agreement between NEAJ, Jurupa, and Jurupa Unified School District. Mrs. Elzig.
Thank you. A tentative agreement has been reached between NEA Jurupa and the district for the 17-18 school year. Highlights of that agreement include a 1% salary increase, a $722 one-time increase to the health and welfare contribution. We've increased the reflective coach stipend to be per candidate, the candidate that they're assigned to, which goes back to your question, Mr. Mendez. Those are some of the same people that we assign to new teachers. We are looking at, we've piloted a way of handling combination classes that's working well. We're looking to put that in the contract and increasing the golf coach stipend. So we bring it to board for ratification tonight. The teachers will vote on this when they come back to work in August, and then you'll see it come again, the results of that vote to board.
Make a motion to approve the tentative agreement for NEAJ.
Motion by Mr. Mendez,
Second.
second by Ms. Ortega. Any questions, comments? Okay, let's call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item G, board member comments and reports, committee reports. Mrs. Chard, let's start with you.
Well, I hate to say this, but I'm going to miss Donna. I don't want to say it at all. I don't want her to leave. But I've really enjoyed working with you on the board. I've enjoyed learning from you. You have a great concept of what a board member should do, board member should be, and I hope that maybe somebody that has been to some of the board meetings and has seen you in action or has been at the schools will step up to follow in your footsteps. You're going to have to get set up right away because we're all coming up there for one of the board meetings, you know. You're going to be a far away, but we're going to have to come and visit you, or you'll have to stop back down here, you and Frank both. Have been a big asset to our district and our community, and you will be greatly missed, both of you, but you will not be forgotten.
Thank you, Mrs. Chard. Mr. Mendez.
I do appreciate the contributions that Ms. Johnson has made on this board since she joined us here up there on the dais. And I've known Donna for many, many years since her time serving with the Supervisor Tavoloni's office here. Long ago, seems like, but it's been quite a while that I've had the pleasure of knowing you and Frank, and really have appreciated your service to the community over the years, and wish you the best, both of you the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Ms. Ortega.
When I first started here and as a board colleague of you all, I confused your name, Linda, and your name. So finally, I had just figured out the difference. And you leave. It's not fair. But again, you'll be very missed, and I learned again a lot from you and your passion and your contribution to our community, and that will always be remembered. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortega. Mrs. Johnston.
Many people have called me Linda, and the funny thing about that is my mother wanted to name me Linda, my dad wanted to name me Donna. So I thought, I don't care what you call me. I've appreciated all of you. Linda and I come from the same generation, and we have a lot in common. And Mr. Mendez is wonderful to talk to. My boss, Supervisor Tavaloni, had a tremendous respect for you. And then when early on in the board meetings, we were over at Pacific Patriot High School. We were in a closed session pre-meeting before the award ceremony, I believe, and Mr. Mendez and I started talking. And we were sitting there, and we all realized suddenly that we were the only ones there, and that we only had like half a minute to get out there for the opening of the board meeting. And so, and then Ms. Ortega has been a breath of fresh air and sunshine, and you have all your life ahead of you, and it's a great time for you. And I always think about my time on the board. I tell my oldest daughter, who has no extra time, that I wish I had done this earlier. And I keep telling her, get on the school board. You'll like it. You really should be on the board while your kids are in school. And so, and then Mr. Garcia, whom I didn't know well, but I was worried about him anyway, and had an issue with, I was so upset that he had an issue when he lost his job, and I was so mad because it was actually a political issue about the H-1B visa people coming over and taking the jobs of high-tech people, and I was just so upset about it, and I tried to help him, find a job, and he did. I was so happy. I know his wife was very happy, but anyway, it was traumatic. But the funny thing about it was, though, I was reading about that happening, and I called him up, and I thought, oh, he's going to think I'm nuts, because, Robert, you're in that industry. Do you know what I just read about? And, they can't talk about it. And he goes, yes, yes, yes. And then I come in, and I find out that it happened to him, and I was like, oh, my gosh. But anyway, so we all, had issues together, and and the staff is great. And the staff is just wonderful. You guys work very hard. You have so much knowledge. I know nothing. I could spend years here, and, and we talked about that too, Memo. So education is something that you have to do for a lifetime. And, I've loved it here, and I want to ask Paula to help me figure out how to decorate my house, so whether it's online or you come visit me. But, my door is open. You come to Yosemite, you got to stop by or call me up, and I'll be there. So anyway, I have the same phone number, so if you guys are in the area, just let me know you're there.
Thank you, Ms. Johnston. As you can see, she's been very colorful, and she's like that. And so we love Donna, and we all get along really good. And like I said, we're all here for the kids, and so we're really going to miss you, Donna. And I know I said some things earlier. I think that's enough said, but then I agree with what everyone else has said about you. We're really going to miss you, and we wish you the best. So thank you for everything. And that's all I have. Do you have any additional comments you'd like to, any final thoughts?
Well, I do tonight.
Okay.
Trustee Johnston, Mr. Trustee Johnston, I'm not sure how long I've known you, at least 25 years, maybe longer. You have been friends. I am not sure that we would be a city today without the hard work of both of you. It is very sad for me to see you go. I consider you both dear friends. Something about you, Donna, is you're a good person to disagree with because you're open-minded and you listen. And we may not have ever changed each other's minds, but we've certainly had some interesting dialogues, and I love that about you. And what you bring to the board ultimately is the framework of what's right for students, what's right for justice, and what's right for the community. So I just want to personally thank both you and Frank for what you've done for the community, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? Okay. Admiral Hill, I am not surprised that you sat through the entire meeting. Many people would leave earlier, and I think it speaks to what type of soldier you were to never start something without finishing it. Mrs. Hill, thank you for your dedication to helping your husband through the military and through his assignments. Ms. Singleoff, it's great to see you here tonight. I just want to make one comment, Admiral. I have in front of me your command chronology that started 1/4/1948 in flight training school and ended in August of 1980, serving the Chief of Naval Operations in the Battle Preparedness Office. You served this country in the air, on land, and on sea diligently, and you really, I hope that the students who attend the school and see the name on the school will realize that you stand as an example that they can achieve, maybe not being admiral, few people reach that rank, but that they can achieve what they want in life and how important community and country is. So I thank you for your service. It's an honor to meet you, and we will be honored to name the building after you. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Deshawn, and thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. The meeting is now adjourned.